I went to my friend's IUD appointment against my husband's wishes. My husband Greg has this weird thing about boundaries. Not like normal boundaries, but his version where he gets to decide who I'm friends with and what I do with my time. He's been like this since we got married 2 years ago, and honestly, it's gotten worse. My best friend Natalie called me on Tuesday morning. She was freaking out because she had an IUD insertion scheduled for Thursday, and she was terrified of going alone. Her boyfriend had bailed on her last minute because of some work thing, and she was literally crying on the phone asking if I could come with her. I told her of course I would. That's what friends do. But when I mentioned it to Greg that night over dinner, he lost it. He said it was inappropriate for me to be involved in Natalie's reproductive health stuff, that it was too personal and I shouldn't be getting mixed up in her private medical business. I told him she was scared and needed support, but he just kept saying no. He literally said, if I went to that appointment, there would be consequences. I asked him what that meant, and he just stared at me with this cold look and said, I'd find out. Thursday morning came and I had to make a choice. Natalie sent me 3 texts asking if I was still coming. I could tell she was panicking. I looked at Greg eating his cereal and I just said I was going out to run errands. He knew. I could see it in his face, but I left anyway. The appointment was at a clinic about 20 minutes away. Natalie was already in the waiting room when I got there, looking pale and picking at her nails. She hugged me so tight when she saw me and whispered thank you like 5 times. They called her back after about 15 minutes. The nurse asked if she wanted someone with her and Natalie grabbed my hand. We went into this small room with a medical table and bright lights. The doctor came in and explained the whole procedure. Natalie was squeezing my hand so hard I thought she might break it. The insertion itself took maybe 10 minutes, but Natalie was crying the whole time. Not loud crying, just tears streaming down her face. I kept telling her to breathe and that she was doing great. The doctor was nice about it and kept checking if she was okay. When it was done, Natalie had to lie there for a bit because she felt dizzy. The nurse brought her some juice and crackers. I sat next to her and we just talked about random stuff to take her mind off it. She told me she didn't know what she would have done if I hadn't come. We left the clinic around 11. I drove Natalie home and made sure she was settled on her couch with a heating pad and her pain meds. She thanked me again and said I was the best friend she could ask for. I got home around 1 in the afternoon. Greg's car was in the driveway. He usually doesn't get home until 6, so I knew something was up. I walked in and he was sitting on the couch with his arms crossed. He asked where I'd been. I told him I took Natalie to her appointment. He stood up and started yelling about how I disrespected him and went behind his back, that I chose my friend over my husband. I yelled back that Natalie needed me and I wasn't going to abandon her just because he had some weird hang-up about medical appointments. He said it wasn't about the appointment, it was about me defying him. That word, defying, made my blood boil. He told me I needed to apologize and promise I'd never do something like that again. I laughed in his face. I told him I'd do it 100 more times if Natalie needed me. That's when he grabbed my phone off the counter. He went through my messages with Natalie and found texts from the past few days where we'd been talking about the appointment. He started reading them out loud in this mocking voice. Then he deleted Natalie's number from my phone right in front of me. I tried to grab the phone back, but he held it up high. He said if I couldn't be trusted to make good decisions, he'd have to make them for me. He blocked Natalie's number on my phone and on our phone plan. I was so mad I was shaking. I told him he was acting insane and controlling. He said no, he was being a husband who expected his wife to listen. The next morning I went to work and used my computer to message Natalie on social media. I told her what Greg did. She was horrified. She said I needed to get out of that marriage because that kind of behavior only gets worse. I spent the whole weekend thinking about it. Greg acted like nothing happened. He was making jokes and asking what I wanted for dinner like he hadn't just tried to isolate me from my best friend. On Monday, I called my mom. She lives 2 hours away, but she drove down that afternoon. I told her everything. She helped me pack a bag while Greg was at work. I left my wedding ring on the kitchen counter with a note that said, I'm staying with my mom until you learn what a partnership actually means.